know that the incense isn't helping, but I'm glutton for punishment. Good morning, HB. How are you? I tried to finagle a shade for my phone. It's quickly not working. Like, you're already back in the sun. I don't know how that happened. Okay. Yeah, I may have to move you again, HB. Let's see. I'll give it just a second. How was your weekend, HB? Man, I am gonna have to move that phone. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Hello, hello. No, it's not a silent movie. I'm assuming you can hear the city. Interesting script, HB. Let's see if I can get you guys out of the sun again. Hold on. I'm gonna keep moving things around just a bit. Is that as good as it's gonna get? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Vadim. Sorry, I'm used to my coffee being on the left side. HB, I made progress on the next episode, finally. I'm feeling really good. I'll hopefully have it out on Saturday, maybe Sunday. We'll see. Good morning, good morning. Cannot keep that phone out of the sun. No, I am writing. I am stream of consciousness writing, which I do first thing in the morning, every morning. They're called morning pages. And the idea, it's kind of an active meditation, if you will. But this space has turned into a place for conversation in the mornings. So I kind of do a blend of both. There are periods when I'm quiet and writing and you can listen to the sounds of the city. Birds, trains, people, literally seen everything at this point. And there'll be times when we're talking about all sorts of topics. And then there will be several times where I move my phone around because I can't seem to keep it out of the sun. Even now, it's a problem again. I don't understand. Your usual home over there is actually available and not in the sun. I don't understand. I have to move you. And do it real quick while there's not too many people on. Let's see. All right, kids. Usual spots available. Let's see how this goes. Wow. Rearrange again. Probably just gonna go back to the smoker in a little bit. Really know what I'm doing over here. What do I want to do? I'm gonna switch things around. We're gonna try it. I'm gonna have to just sit out here one day and take note of, yeah, maybe when I get more advanced HB, but in the meantime, I'm gonna have to just sit out here one day, not writing, and figure out exactly where the sun is when, but it's gonna change throughout the year, so I gotta figure something out. I thought I built a shade, but it obviously didn't work, so, you know, just get to move around with me. There might be days when I'm drawing, Levi. Today is not one of them. This space is still evolving, and what happens each morning is still kind of in flux. But I'm sure there are going to be periods out when I'm out here. I don't actually draw per se, but I paint, so that'll probably happen. Just get a proper phone shade, I think, and see if it works. I gotta figure something out. good evening for you. Today would be Tuesday for Carmine, I think. So I'm pretty sure when we saw her last, she was a day ahead. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. So I think today may be the end of exams. Fingers crossed. It's so fun to feel like we have a university student in the family that we can all cheer on and wish for the best. It's so cool. How was your weekend, Ken? I saw your sign this morning that you posted. The no date or time available. It's ominous. Yeah, she's I think she said she was a sophomore. I forgot you haven't been here. You weren't here yesterday or the last time, 2 days ago when she was on, or whenever we talked to her last. still fighting over one of my tomatoes, but we've started to leave everything else alone. What do you think they're talking about? Wait, what, HB? Wait, who had to evacuate? The people. What? I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I know that there was the demonstration, and I know the contact in the desert, and I still haven't watched anything. But I didn't know there was anything about an evacuation. Ugh. What a troll. Are you kidding? Wait, was this someone at Contact in the Desert? Also, Ken, I'm coming back to you. I just got sidetracked. Okay, I can't put this off any longer. I definitely have to look that up. Wow. That's some bullshit. Man, I just got chilly again. Ken, I'm sorry it was rough. I get the need to isolate, though. I do the same thing when I get overwhelmed with life. I'm glad things are a little better, at least. Really, HB. Also, let me know if the connection goes to shit. I had to adjust my Wi-Fi. Wow, that's insane. I will absolutely look into that. I had no idea. Let me see now. I hope this week is better. I know Mondays usually suck, and a lot of people have the Sunday blues. But I think sometimes when things are kind of shit, I will actually really enjoy Mondays because it feels like a reset. Even if things don't necessarily get better right away, there's just like, it's like the new year, right? There's just some sort of mental shift that feels like you get to try again. So hopefully this Monday is better in that aspect. mean, we are definitely still the minority, but it's getting louder. You know? At least there's that. How are you, Andy? Yeah, okay. Ken, I'm glad that you appreciate that. Mondays changed for me freelancing too. I think that's part of it. I definitely, Mondays shifted after that. So it's not as bad, which is nice. I actually always feel really guilty when anybody, like any of my friends or anything, start to like complain about the Sunday blues or like complain that it's Monday, because I don't, like, I can't help but feel guilty, which is silly. I shouldn't feel guilty for that, but still, I get what you mean. Right? It's like, or I feel guilty when, like, because my schedule's flexible, like, I can do things during the day, or, like, just, yeah, I definitely, there is some, like, guilt of when freelancing and others around you aren't. But it's still a grind, because the amount of times freelancing where I'm working odd hours or weekends or nights to like meet a deadline or to turn something for a client, you're like, okay, if that means that I can go to the beach on a Tuesday because the weather's finally nice, then I guess it's a trade-off. I do also appreciate the flexibility of like knowing that I don't have to do my job from 9 to 5. If something comes up, I can do it from 5 to 9. I can do it, you know, the next day. I can do it over the weekend. Like, there's been times, especially lately, my schedule has been so weird that I've had to do other things during the week and actually do like my client work during the weekends. Exactly. You have to like manage it yourself, but that comes with like the blessing of the flexibility. But man, does it also come with the stress of like making sure you have enough work. I know, HB. So I'm such a busy person. I'm always doing something. Like if I wasn't doing YouTube, all of that time would be consumed in a million other projects, whether it's house projects, whether it's other creative, like it would just be other creative outlets, whatever. And I always think, like pre-pandemic, I always thought I could never stop working because I'm such a productive person. And then over the pandemic, I remembered that I had hobbies and like things that I like to do that wasn't work. And then I had to go back to work. And now all I think about is how I think we should have a 5-day or 4-day work week, and how I don't ever want to work for someone again. I just want to always work for myself. And how I now definitely think I would love retirement, because I would still be productive and I would do all these creative outlets, but I wouldn't have to work for finances. So my question is, HB, do you ever feel guilty for that, or is that like something that just like Ken and I are dealing with freelancing, and once you get to retirement you're like, sorry kids, I'm of age, leave me alone, it's time to be retired? see you. HB, so retirement's new for you. Actually, I should have known that because I knew how old you were. I wasn't doing the math. So this is your first retired summer. That's exciting. Oh, that's fantastic. So your boat being under repair means you can't be out fishing and you can focus on writing. That's good. Very synchronistic. You're right. Universe setting things up for you. It was really funny, speaking of synchronicities. I know I've told you guys before, I'm not kidding. All day, every day. All day, every day. I probably see synchronicity, specifically in numbers. There are days where it happens 15 times in a day. Regularly, this happens. Most days it happens at least once. It's very rare that I go a day without seeing any. And I'd say on average, it's probably like 5 a day. And yesterday I was working on the episode 9 deep dive script. And I know I've been putting it off because it's a hard episode because of John Paul's passing. And I know I've been putting it off because it's so hard to bring myself to like do this one. And I sat down yesterday, we had a house guest, things were busy, and I just had this moment of being like, look, I've asked my subconscious to work on a script for days, and I haven't sat down and even attempted to see if she's gotten anywhere and if I've gotten anywhere. And so I made myself sit down for a little bit and I went through it, and I was really excited about where it went. I'm feeling much better. I'm gonna work on it again today. But I say all of this because I worked like blindly. I have no idea how long I was sitting there. I was so focused. I got through it. I got done. Closed my laptop and I tapped my phone, which had been just sitting there the whole time. And it was 4:44. And it just like, I couldn't help but kind of giggle. I'm sure I probably laughed out loud because I think I've always said whenever I see those, I don't look into the meaning of specific numbers because I see all of them so often. And also every time I try to look into it, according to the internet, all of them mean the same fucking thing. They all mean the same thing. So I just take it as a nod from the universe saying, hey, I'm here, we're like doing this together, you know? And so I always pause and smile and usually wave at the clock or the number. And just like, hey, I see you, thank you. It's so silly when I say it out loud, but that happening again right after I actually focused and did the thing just felt like a pat on the back. Like it felt like the universe being like, good girl, like I told you could do it. So that's my story from yesterday. Yeah, I see 444 is like one of a dozen that I see, and not all of mine are even just the same digit. So like I'll get ones, I'll get fours, I'll get twos, I'll get threes, I get fives. Basically 1 through 5, a lot. I get 10, 10. I got 14, 41, 41, or 14, 41, 1212. So like I'll get mirror numbers in addition to just like the same digit repeatedly. And I'll get 3s and 4s and more. 144, so like 1s and 4s together, like patterns of those. 1441. Yeah. I'm trying to think of which one's other. 1010 is a really common one. I'll also get like 808, 606, like I get those kinds of things too. And it doesn't, like, sure, at one point you're like, okay, those are just like all of the numbers, right? It sounds ridiculous, but when you see them so often that you start to like take notes, like, oh, Jesus Christ, like I really do see those same fucking numbers everywhere. To the point that then I think it's part of the reason I stopped looking deep into it and just take it as like a nod and a hello, is because I would go insane if I thought that that was the case and I tried to decipher all the shit that I think I see every day. Yeah, new beginning, your guides are with you, stay the course. Like they always, it always says the same thing no matter like what you look at. And it's like, okay, so I'm just gonna, oh, that's interesting, HB. 1, 2, 3, 4, huh. I woke up at, I don't remember if it was 4:44 or 2:22 the other morning. It was surprising though. And it's like one of those things where I always want to be like, you know, it's just a coincidence. But it's also like of all the time, that's the time that you woke up or that you looked at the clock or that you saw the number or whatever. It just, I don't know. Also, it makes me think, I was writing about this with the next, you guys are going to hear all of this in the next script, I'm sure, but I was thinking about how they always say, you know, you get what you look for, right? There's cognitive, not cognitive bias, confirmation bias. And you get what you look for. And I'm like, okay, so you get what you look for, right? If I want to see synchronistic numbers, then I'm using my brain consciously or subconsciously to look for synchronistic numbers to placate myself, right? Or to tell to reassure myself that like I am seeing what I'm seeing. But is that itself then not just manifestation, right? If you're looking around and you're constantly catching the patterns, and we are creating our experience, if it's a simulation or if it's not, regardless, science is telling us that we're creating our experience because of the observer effect and quantum entanglement. And catching my thoughts here, hold on. You see where I'm going, you see the connections that I'm making. It might be confirmation bias and we might get what we look for, but is that not, you know, manifestation? You're changing your thoughts to look for the thing, and then the thing that you want is appearing. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's all connected. I'm still figuring it out, and it's definitely going to be a theme in that next episode. And then you could throw in like the time not being linear aspect of everything. And I, after rereading my notes and going over everything for the next episode and seeing what Asher said again about like simulation theory and about synchronicities and all of these things, where he basically said, yeah, reincarnation is real, but remember, time isn't linear, so you're actually living all of your incarnations at once. And they affect each other. So what I do in this incarnation is affecting another incarnation that is coexisting in another dimension, I guess. Which that one still, and I'm going to say this in the video, so sorry for hearing it twice, but I guess this is helping me suss out my thoughts around this. I struggle with that because in my head, I'm in this experience, right? I'm not in that experience. So let's say in another incarnation, I'm an Indian woman. I'm not conscious of that experience the same way that I'm not conscious of your experience, any one of you guys. I am not in your shoes. I don't know what you're experiencing. I don't know what you're seeing. I don't know what your day-to-day entails. The same way I don't know what the Indian woman variation of me is. So what makes her different from you to me? Like, why is she tied to me but you're not? But then you have that idea of universal consciousness, and are we all just one consciousness splitting off itself? So then we are all affected. So that's like the we are all one concept, right? And then if we are having these multiple incarnations and somehow affecting each other, that's essentially quantum entanglement, right? What happens to one shifts the other. This is what keeps me up at night. But I really do get hung up on, let's say there's other incarnations of me out doing their thing. Why are they tied to me but you aren't? Why is that different? Why should I care any differently? Like when we talk about the multi-worlds theory, one of my friends was talking about it, and he was really upset by the thought that like there were versions of him going through hell, you know, because apparently everything is possible. So he's like, there's a version of me like just being tortured. There's a version of me that's dying of cancer. There's like all of these, like everything is happening. But like, you don't know that version of you. You're not in that experience, right? So what is the difference between the version of you experiencing cancer and the stranger next door experiencing cancer? I don't see a difference, and my empathy is the same for both. I am as concerned for the variation of me experiencing that as I am concerned for my neighbor and friend experiencing that. And that's when I get confused. That's when I get held up of, like, I don't understand the connection. If I'm not consciously experiencing that and I'm experiencing this, what is different? I'm so sorry if that was, one, incoherent, or two, boring as fuck. Thank you for letting me get it out, because I don't know what I think. Confirmation bias is you get what you look for. So like, if I think men are mean, and then I go out into the world thinking men are mean, all I'm going to see are men being mean, because that's what I'm looking for. It's confirming my bias against men, confirmation bias. So yeah, you get what you look for. In spirituality, that's when you think you're looking for miracles, looking for signs, looking for synchronicities, you're going to get them. And in the opposite side of that, you have change blindness, which is when you don't see what you don't expect. And that's when you see those like studies where, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the basketball, there's like an old video of kids playing basketball, and like the test is that they ask you to say how many times the ball passes from player to player. So you watch the whole scene, and then afterwards you find out that a man in a gorilla suit walked through the scene, and they're like, how many of you saw the man in the gorilla suit? And most people don't notice the gorilla because they're looking at the ball, so they don't notice what they don't expect. And that is change blindness, the opposite of confirmation bias, if that makes sense. And so I'm constantly checking myself for confirmation bias, because I think that it's an easy way to get trapped into any type of thinking, whether it's materialism or spirituality. Like, I think there has to be a balance, which is why the channel's title, logically free-spirited. Like, it's important to me to remain balanced to the best of my ability. And so I'm always checking myself for confirmation bias. I'm always maybe a little too concerned that things are confirmation bias. But if anything, because of that, it has made me stronger in my beliefs, because I have challenged myself so much before essentially deciding that it's not confirmation bias, but it is true to my experience, if that makes sense. Stop. Okay, so Ken. Yeah, okay. So I'm really open to, are you in the sun? I think you're in the sun. I'm really open to the multiverse idea. I just don't, I struggle with the concern. I struggle with thinking of myself as different from anyone else, like my multiple variations of myself. Like, I'm not saying I struggle to believe that they're there. I just struggle to care about them differently than I do others. And I don't know why. It sounds really awful when I say it like that. But also, as for the your psychedelic experience, I was reading, I think it was somebody's salvia experience. It might have been DMT, but I think it was salvia. And they were talking about being a flower, that they experienced their life as a flower, and they felt what it was like to grow and to stretch and to bloom and to be in the sun, and they were so happy being a flower. And then the trip ended and they came back and they were so upset to be a human and just wanted to be a flower again. And I have never been, like, that's just lived rent-free in my head ever since then. It's just such an interesting story. And I'm really interested in psychedelic therapy, and I'm not very experienced with psychedelics, but I'm not aversion to psychedelics. I have not done any sort of macro trip or a trip large enough to have anything like that. The biggest experience I've ever had was audio hallucinations, and those I do not think people talk about enough, because I don't think as many people get those. I don't know anybody else that's had audio hallucinations the way I do. When on, like, you know, some larger doses, and that was really unexpected. Hey Comer, good morning. Oh, you were a butterfly? Okay, maybe I want to do this again. Okay, Comer, you can see under your skin. See, I love talking about these stories. Yeah, essentially I'm starting to believe everything is consciousness too. I've started talking to the trees a lot more. And I don't, I only say that to you friends, but. Wait, okay, Andy, you did that too. Okay, so maybe they were previous incarnations. However, according to Asher, or not according to Asher, according to science, time isn't linear, right? So are you actively experiencing all of those incarnations simultaneously? Like they're all happening right now in the multiverse? That's the question. You were a chair. This is why I name all my things. Ugh. You guys, maybe I need to do that again. See, that is not what I have had yet, but like I said, I haven't had the macro experiences. That's so cool. Comer and Ken, and Andy, actually, anybody, I don't think HB, you've said you've done anything, but for the three of you, when were these experiences? Like what year was it? Like, was it long ago? Was it recently? Okay, also, next question. Okay, 2 questions for the chat. When did this happen? All 3 of you, please, if you will. And what was the scenario in which this happened? So was it intended as a therapeutic dose? Like, did you take your dose and then like lie down with shades on and music on? Did you take your dose by yourself and go to the park? Were you with friends and like this just happened? Like, can you break down this scenario? Was it intended to be like, where were you when this happened? Were you at home? Were you alone? Were you with people? I'm so interested. Because the one time when I was having the audio hallucinations, it was mushrooms, and it wasn't a bad trip, but it wasn't good, and I realized that I actually can't do it around my dog, which is really disappointing, because in one world I'm like, I think it would be so lovely to do it and be with him because he's my world, but in that experience, I became worried about him. I was worried that he was okay. I was worried that he could sense that we were not in our normal headspace, and I just became overly concerned with the dog. And so now I know that he can't be there. Okay. Thank you guys. Okay. So Ken, your experience, that's how I have several friends that kind of operate in that way. Comer, that sounds awesome. Okay, very cool. And Andy, it's awesome that like your trip was in '87 and it's still that vivid. Thank you for indulging me, guys. I really appreciate that. Okay. I have a friend who just did one of those not so legal certification processes for being a psychedelic therapist. And he is specializing specifically in 5-MeO DMT and keeps offering the opportunity for me to experience it therapeutically. And I'm not opposed to it at all. I think it'll happen at some point. But for whatever reason, I've told you guys before, I'm very intuitionally based, and my intuition is just like, yeah, not yet, you're okay. You don't need to do it right now. It's just like I know now's not the time, but I know it will happen at some point, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about, right? Reality being shaped by the brain. Is that not just a form of manifestation? Like what? Hi, bud. Hi. Say hi, everybody. Exactly. It's really interesting. See, and that's the thing, Ken. That's always like, but they always say, they don't say it's a bad trip. They say it's a challenging one. Where he wants to go. You can't see him, but he's sitting right off camera. I don't understand why I managed to stay out of the sun right now. I guess it's the time of day. Really, Comer? My friend is like, he really loves it. Obviously, it's why he decided to become a practitioner with it. And I am very curious about it, but the problem is that I end up liking to, I like to research things a little too much. And I think that was part of what happened with my experience with psychedelics, was that I had too many expectations because of the research I did. And in order to do DMT, I'd want to research it to feel good, and then I feel like I'd come in with all these expectations, which is not what you're supposed to do. Oh, and yeah, Comer, a new talk tracks. I was there one yesterday. I haven't seen it yet. I gotta get through my next script before I can take in any more content, or at least get further along in it, because it's such a hefty one. Yeah, it's such a hefty one. I don't know. But have you listened to it, Comer? Is it good? Of course it's good. Has there been a bad one? No. At least not in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna grab more coffee real quick. I'll be right back. Not you, puppy. going back. Are you in the sun? Kind of. I need to move you, yes. Guess what's not in the sun? The smoker. Gonna rearrange again. Okay. Good. What are you talking about? Back to the smoker. Yeah, I know. Expectations ruin everything. You've experienced... I want to experience telepathy. I didn't fix the weak signal, but I did problem solve a few things. Essentially, I just hope for the best with my computer and haven't been linking it with my phone. Sorry, I swear that just moved. Haven't been linking it with my phone. But it's linked now and it seems to be working. So, also if I close the door, that ruins everything because it's a metal door. But sometimes I have to close it because if my partner's cooking, it's like you just hear pots and pans. It's awful. So, kind of fixed. One thing you guys are going to learn about me is that I will try a DIY not fixed solution, i.e. the signal or the attempt at shading my phone before I will cave and actually do the proper thing. Like buy a shade or fix the signal. I will always try and do it a different way first, especially if it involves money. Can't help it. This is my dad and me. Practical and thrifty. Riding rebel's a nice way to put it. Good. I mean, there's some people, like there's some creators that have multiple camera angles and have the whole setup where they can like switch things and put timers up and do all this stuff. And I am slowly learning, slowly improving, but not there yet. Where was I? Oh yeah, you get more plants from that angle, don't you? Have a good night, Ken. See you later. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, HB, all the plants are growing. Definitely getting bigger. I need to trim a couple of the herbs. Bye. if I am a green witch. I feel like my friends and I have talked about this. I'm good with plants, but I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be the herbologist of us. Well, I mean, of our group I might be, but in general, I don't know that I consider myself that. Mine's has to do with energy. It has to. Energy and intention. There's got to be some sort of witch with that. Analytic. Also, I was just thinking, I'm really glad I'm getting into the rhythm and the hang of things with these lives. Now in the summer, I come back to crystals. But now in the summer, while it's warm and I know I want to be out here and we have the sound of, the city and all of that, because hopefully by the time the weather turns back to cold, which will be in, what's now, June? Probably 4 months. It's crazy to think how cold it is here. 4 or 5 months maybe at the most of being able to do this out here, and then I don't want to stop doing this. So I will hopefully have been comfortable enough to adapt this and change it into being able to do it indoors and have a similar kind of energy. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm glad I have some time to figure it out. I know, I can't believe it's June. I'm really sad that it's June and I'm still cold. Like, really sad. We've had one cool day, and you guys wouldn't know this, but in the summer, I love the sun. I love being in the sun. My name is so ironic. But one of my girlfriends in the Coven has a pool, and we all are there all summer long, and everyone's really sad that it's just not been warm enough to do that. And in June, it's like mid-June almost. Anyway, HB, going back to crystals. I appreciate crystals. I respect crystals. I have crystals gifted to me from my mother. But I don't have a particular affinity for them. So that's not it either. So I'm not the earth. That's another part of the earth green witch, I think, is like not only plants, but crystals come from the earth. And again, I respect and appreciate them, but I don't have a strong affinity for them. I don't know a whole lot about them. Of all of them I have, I don't know what most of them are, or I definitely don't know what their properties are. I will charge them, if you will, in the full moon occasionally, and I will carry them with me. Like, I will pick one. I usually bring one when we're traveling. I usually amethyst. Or like if we've got like a big day or something important going on, like I'll pick one in my pocket every now and then. But it's just, at this point, it almost feels superstitious. But it doesn't, because I now understand more about frequency and energy. But again, not a particular draw towards crystals more than anything else, if you will. So it's not that kind of energy. I feel like my partner would probably say it's some sort of healing energy. Which is weird, because I wouldn't call myself a healer. That feels lofty and unwarranted. However, he would say a healing energy, for sure. My coven would definitely say compassion. I'm definitely the good energy of the group in terms of, empath. I'm the baby of like, don't do that. Like, we can't do the bad energy. We can't don't do the hacks. Any of that stuff. Oh, good. I'm glad, Comer. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think there's something to it, but I think that as humans, or as spirits experiencing humanity, we have a limit to how much we can take, right? Like, if I could learn everything about everything and be involved in everything at all times, I would love it, and I would do so much, and I would knock myself out trying. But like, we can only be interested in so much. We can only be passionate about so many things. Like, we can only be interested in so many things. And so I think it's one of those things where I'm like, it doesn't make it not true, and it doesn't make it not valuable just because it's not one of my things that I have the capacity to lean into, if that makes sense. Like, I still think crystals, I think there's something to it, absolutely. I just don't have the capacity. I don't have the space to lean in too much. If I'm also leaning into all of the other shit that I'm leaning into. So, yeah, I appreciate them. I think they're beautiful. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's my particular affinity. Yeah, I'd say whatever the empath witch is. You know, yes and no. Because remember, I'm positive energy for sure. But I'm not always the fun girl at the party. I have moments of where I probably come off as standoffish, but in true fashion, for whatever reason, I'm feeling particularly introverted or not like engaging, but I'm still present. Like, I want to just be there and in the energy, but like I'm not maybe actively engaging. I'm the one that if somebody starts talking shit, I'm the first one to stop it. Or if somebody's complaining about somebody else, I'm the first one to try and offer a different perspective. Usually the perspective of whoever the antithesis of the conversation is, right? So I'm always that person, which is probably really annoying at times. But yeah, I'm always that person that tries to be like, well, but wait, look at it from their point of view. Like, it doesn't make it right, but now I understand why they might have said that, or why they might feel that way, or why they might act that way, and essentially rationalize things to a fault sometimes. It's that kind of positive energy. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. When I'm with my girlfriends, we are a lot of fun energy. Or when I'm with my coven, which we're doing a surprise birthday party for one of our coven this weekend. I wanted to do it on Friday because it's Friday the 13th, but we can't. I think we're going to have to do it Saturday or Sunday. And we wanted it to be a pool party, but it's going to be 73 and rain. So it's just going to be a surprise party. Actually, I have to order some stuff for it today. Like today, if I'm going to get it in time. And I need to get another notebook out here for like the to-do list and this, because I'm always thinking of things as I'm writing. Okay. See, I already forgot the other stuff I said I was going to do. I miss my ping pong though. The other ping pong ball. My one girlfriend. She's had food poisoning the last couple of days, so I haven't seen her. Otherwise, yesterday would have been nice enough for a pool day. Is there like a specific tea time? Is that a thing still? I really don't know. I'm embarrassed to say I don't know. HB, that sounds incredible. Whatever that is. Hot raspberry mocha zebra style. Okay. So late afternoon is typical, but tea whenever you like. Makes sense. I typically don't put anything in my tea. I do put creamer in my coffee. But most of my tea, it depends. If I'm drinking like a chai, I do love a chai latte. Certain teas I think require, or not require, certain teas I prefer with something like honey or lemon. But in general, I typically drink my tea straight. What about you, Comer? How do you take your tea? And you, Andy? I Comer and Andy, that just made my day, that interaction. I have told this to my partner many times when I come back in from doing this. He kind of thinks it's crazy what I'm doing here, but I always go in and I'm so geeked at the diversity in the tiny little group that we've started. Like, it makes me so happy, and I know not everyone's here all the time, but it's just so cool to have so many different people in so many different time zones, in so many different walks of life, in one chat that is less than 10 people at all times. Like, you guys have no idea how, like, I couldn't have drawn that better in what I would have hoped for, because I love, it's part of what I love about living in the community that I physically live in, but like, it's like the best thing in the world about the internet. It's the best thing about the internet is being able to connect with people across the globe. And I'm not super well traveled, and I grew up in a small town. I never thought that I would see any part of the world, let alone the parts that I have seen. And to now be able to like engage and interact with people in all of these different parts of the world, like, it's just so fucking cool. Hey, bud. Bye, bud. That was awesome, though. Also, I love the English humor. No, Comer. Comer. You're gonna have to let that one go, friend, because I ate pineapple on my pizza. I'm that person. My order is throwing pens again. Pineapple, jalapeno, and pepperoni. If I'm eating meat. If I'm not eating meat, then just pineapple and jalapeno. I go through bouts of no meat. But I love pineapple on my pizza. I get a lot of flack for it, but I can't help it. Thanks, HB. Actually, I literally had pizza this weekend, like pineapple pizza. Literally. What did I get? Yeah, I got one pineapple, or one half pineapple, one half pepperoni. Yeah, and then I usually have jalapenos at home. I'm growing jalapenos, which I do every year. I'm excited, but they're nowhere near ready. Oh, so yeah, I can't do. I used to do ketchup as a kid, and now we don't even have it in the house. Scotch bonnet chilies. I don't know what those are. You know I couldn't do that on rice. Ugh, no thank you. I do love soy though, like soy sauce. Oh, Carolina Reaper. I grew one of those 2 years ago. Um, you guys may already know this, so apologies if I'm telling you something you're already aware of. However, I believe it was the creator of the Carolina Reaper, the one who he cross-pollinated like 2 peppers to create this, I think. But I'm pretty sure he is an ex-heroin addict. And we have a friend who is an ex-heroin addict who gifted us a Carolina Reaper. And he's the one that told us about this. And apparently, the high that people can get from eating peppers as hot as a Reaper is similar to the high you get with heroin and certain other like substances lit in the light. So as a recovering addict or someone who is a former user, peppers are like a, not like, kind of like a vice, if you will. Like it's their substitute in some things. So he knows that I do a lot of plants, so he gave us a Reaper and asked if we would grow it for him and like give him the peppers. And I was happy to do so if it helped him in any way. And so I took on this plant and I had no idea what I was in for, because first off, I am 5'2", 5'3" on a good day. And this plant was probably 6 feet tall by the end of summer. And it is so gigantic that I had to start like caging it in. I had to tell all my neighbors so that no one, like it was up here and protected, but I had to make sure everyone in the building just knew not to go near the plant. You can't touch the leaves. I couldn't water it without glasses and a mask on because the fumes would come out of the soil from the plant as you're watering it. It was just insane. And then at the end of summer, I was not going to keep the plant. It was going to die out here, and I was not taking it in the house. And so I had to dispose of it, and you can't burn it because of what it is. It's like macing the air, so you can't burn the plant. There's nowhere for me to go with it. So I had to mask up, eye up, gloves on, and I chopped this 6-foot plant into tiny little pieces and had to quadruple bag it and then put hazard stickers on it before I could throw it out. That way, like, the garbage men wouldn't come into contact with it, because you can't, like, it was just, I never realized how intense it would be just to have the plant when I have no intention of ever having the pepper. It was wild, and I will never voluntarily do it again, but I will do it. I will do it if he asks me to again, or if someone like that asks me to. I know, they're awful, Comer. I am working on learning metric specifically because I think that it's so dumb that that's how we think also. You will not get a complaint out of me. I agree. I wish I knew what I was in centimeters. I know. But I'm working on it. I'm working on learning the metric system better. I'm 62 inches, if that helps you, but I don't know what a centimeter is to an inch. Listen, again, you only have capacity for so many things in such a small brain. I'm gonna get it eventually. I'm running in kilometers instead of miles, so that's better, right? I run almost daily at this point. I run several times a week, and I've been running in strictly kilometers for the last several months, so that I am coming to understand them better. The answer is short. All right, I gotta finish up here and get on some work. Anna Kendrick size. You can go with that. Yep. Tiny with a big dog. It's me. I said I'm little but mighty. I've always been small, but never in space, just in physical mass. I'm an oldest sister, right? I'm the oldest child. I very much give oldest sister vibes. I am not shy. I will stand up for myself. I'm protective of others. I'm very empathetic. I don't take shit, and I don't take shit on behalf of others either. But I'm tiny. It's very typical, at least in America, I feel like, to have a tiny oldest daughter. Like, for whatever reason, the oldest daughter is always the smallest sibling. Like, my younger siblings have always been larger than me. And I swear that's normal. They let me on the big rides, but barely. Thank you, Andy, for clarifying. I appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, you've got a whole foot on me. You're tall. Oh my gosh, I've been on here for so long, you guys. I gotta finish up. It does. And oh, you were firstborn. Your sisters are tall. I bet. Yeah, I don't know. My sister's taller than me. My brother's definitely taller than me. They're twins and 7 years younger, and I've always been just the little one in the family. And you're right, chatting does take longer, but it is fun. And like I said, I am adjusting kind of how these mornings are gonna go, so maybe I have to kind of figure it out. Maybe I cap it at an hour, in this case, an hour and a half, regardless of how far I've gotten, because if not, my day's gonna get away from me and I'm gonna end up sitting out here all day when I have things to do, you know? We'll see. Oh, does it really, HB? I didn't know that. All right, you guys, I gotta wrap it up. Of course, we got more people joining now, but I've been on here forever. If I don't move on, you know, world of hurt with my to-do list. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I, as of right now, plan to be here every day this week, as long as the weather permits. We may have some rain in here, so it may not work every morning, but hopefully I'll see you guys soon. And I hope you enjoy your day, your night, whatever time it is, because I know you guys are all over. I'll see you later. Mwah! Bye!